Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to the Fundamentals of Aerospace Engineering lecture series. Today we are going to see the topic on airplane engine instruments. This is Professor Nehru, Department of Aerospace Engineering, Essence College of Technology. Last classes we see the navigation instruments. We will see the especially for the instrument which is used to measure the engine performance and engine operation. So airplane engines instruments are essential for monitoring the performance and health of an aircraft engine. This instrument provided virtual information to the pilot, allowing for efficient and safe operation of the aircraft. Here an overview of common airplane engines instruments we're going to see. So engine consisting of the inlet, compressor region and turbine region, combustion chamber and the exhaust. These things, different rotating components are there. At very high temperature, very high pressure it is operating. So this has to be measured and analyzed or the monitoring in various operation for the flight as a safe operation. Airplane engine instruments are the listed here. The tachometer is there, manifold pressure measure gauge is there, oil pressure gauge is there, oil temperature gauge is there, cylinder head temperature gauge is there, exhaust gas temperature gauge is there, fuel pressure gauge, fuel quality gauge, carburetor air temperature gauge, vacuum gauge, torque meter for a turboprop engines, turbine inlet temperature gauge for the turbine engine, and engine pressure ratio gauge for a jet engine. So these are the various instruments or gauges used to measure the engine condition at different level. First we'll see the tachometer, and here we are going to see the functions and what is the descriptions and the importance of this each instruments. First, going to see the tachometer function, measuring the engine RPM, revolution per minute of different condition. And this tachometer indicates the speed at which the engine's crankshaft is rotating. Tachometer shows the crankshaft rotating RPM. This helps to ensure the engine operates within the safe limit or assists in the power management of the engine. Coming to the manifold pressure gauge, it measures the pressure within the engine's intake manifold. How much pressure this air is coming into the inlet or the manifold. It has to send to compressor to again we are raising the temperature. I mean pressure of the air. So used predominantly in the piston engine to indicate the engine's power output. The essence of essential for adjusting this the throttle and optimizing engine performance, especially in the charged engines. This manifold pressure gauge is used. Next one is oil pressure gauge. The function of this oil pressure gauge monitoring the engine oil pressure, at what pressure level it is feeding, whether it is a gravity feed or it is a pressure feed. This oil pressure gauge measures the what pressure it has inside the fuel tank or oil region, indicating whether the oil pressure within the safe operating range or the critical condition. The importance of this oil pressure gauge ensures adequate lubricants of engine components, which is preventing the damage from the frictions and overheating. Fourth one, oil temperature gauge, which measures the temperature of the engine oil, indicates the operation temperature of engine. The importance of this oil temperature gauge helps prevent engine overheating and ensuring the oil remains within the safe temperature range for effective lubrication. Next one is cylinder head temperature gauge. This helps to monitor the temperature of engine cylinder head, indicating the thermal states of the engine. The importance of this cylinder head temperature prevents overheating, which can lead the engine damage or the failure. Coming to the next one is exhaust gas temperature. It similarly how the air measured in the inlet, it has to be measured in the outlet also. So here the measurement temperature gauge is very critical due to the very high temperature and high velocity. This measures the exhaust gas at the exhaust temperature used to fine tune the fuel air mixture for optimal engine performance. How much it has to produce in different fuel air mixture. It helps to maintain sufficient combustion and detecting potential issues within the fuel mixture. Next one is fuel pressure gauge. how much the fuel is, how much pressure it has to feed it, monitoring the pressure of the fuel supplied to the engine, which indicates in the fuel pressure within the proper range. It ensures the consistent adequate fuel supply and preventing the engine stall or the power loss. And next one is fuel quality gauge, indicates the amount of fuel remaining in the tank, which provides real-time data on the fuel level. Crucial for the flight planning and ensuring that there is sufficient fuel for the intended flight. So every flight has to be measured. Next, coming to the carburetor air temperature gauge. The function of this gauge is measure the temperature of the air entering into the carburetor and helps to monitor the risk of the carburetor during icing and de-icing. Its importance gives the prevent icing, which can resist airflow and lead to the engine failure. Finally, coming to the vacuum gauge, the function of this vacuum gauge measures the vacuum pressure within the engine vacuum system. It indicates the performance of vacuum system used for certain instruments and system. The importance of this vacuum gauge ensuring proper functioning of vacuum power instrument such as the attitude indicator and the heading indicator. Next, coming to the torque meter for a turboprop engine. The main function of this turboprop is to measure the engine's output torque, indicating the power being produced by the turboprop engine. The importance of this engine is helps in the managing engine power settings and ensuring efficient operation. Coming to the turbine inlet temperature, the turbine engine gauge measures the temperature of the gauge entering the turbine section, indicates the thermal stress on the turbine blades, preventing the overheating and potential damage of the temperature due to very high temperature. Finally, coming to the last instrument, engine pressure ratio gauge, measures the ratio of the turbine discharge pressure to the engine inlet pressure. This is very very important, where the turbine discharge pressure and inlet pressure should be correlated during the operation of the engine. Indicates the thrust being produced by the engine is the distributor or the produced amount of thrust essential for the setting and monitoring thrust level during different phase of flight. This instrument collectively ensures the safe and efficient operation of the aircraft engine by providing critical real-time data to the pilot. Proper interpretation and the response to this reading are crucial for maintaining engine health and overall flight safety. Thank you. We'll see in the next class.